What is up, guys and gals? Welcome to another episode of the Nonsense Review, episode 201 to be exact. That's right, the exact amount of episodes to go along with every single bass drum performed in 24 hours by the world record holder. I could have worded that better.
Okay, so the record holder played 201 different bass drums.
Performed 201 bass jumps in 24 hours.
Oh, bass jumps. Okay. I thought you... played 201 drums.
That's just average for, like, Rush, isn't it?
Yeah.
For those
this
of you
drum's fucked, bring me a new one.
That's like fucking Def Clock logic, right?
Yeah.
For those of you curious, the record was set on 8th of July 2006 by one Dan Schilling, who looks like an interesting chap, but this is definitely a record that you have to be rich to even think of setting.
Yeah, totally.
So I did the math on it, by the way. That means he did 9 bass jumps every hour on average.
Yeah, that is a very difficult thing to beat.
I didn't jot down the location, but he essentially went to a place where there was a bunch of it's a very cliffy and waterfally region. So yeah, it also didn't say it was 201 different bass jumps. It just said 201 bass jumps. So he could have just gone to the same point again and again and again and again.
I could have done, yeah.
But anyway, I'm your host as always, Devon, and joining me equally as always is Rick.
Hello, everybody.
Today we're returning to a bit of a classic format in that I think we've only done it like 3 times in our history. We're doing an old versus modern with Postman Pat.
Yes. This is something that when I was very, very, very little, Postman Pat was one of my formative things, and apparently it was one of the first things I learned to say, and it was difficult for my folks to decipher it because I was like 1, and I would just go...
So you sounded like a fucking clanger.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think clangers whistled, but you get the point.
Yeah. Teletubby. Postman Pat.
So Postman Pat is quite essentially a British thing. Unlike Thomas the Tank Engine, I don't believe this made a transition to the States. It might have done, I could be wrong on that, but they don't have the Royal Mail over there for one.
Yeah, they don't. Like, he would have to become a UPS guy in a brown van, and everybody would have to be not a Yorkshireman or whatever.
Yeah, it just wouldn't work. They'd have to change it far too much. That being said, let's do some background information on Pat. Now, I'm only really covering the classic version of Pat for my background knowledge because it was easier to find information for, to be frank with you.
Yeah.
So, the very first episode aired on 16th of September 1981, which I believe predates both of us.
It does. It's I would say it's rather rare to find something that predates both of us, but to be honest, you just have to look harder. Like all the kaiju stuff that we've done predates both of us so far.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on the channel. Like, anything pre-1990 is older than me.
Oh yeah, totally.
But anyway, I digress. The first episode of the Special Delivery Service, which is the classic version, not the classic, the newer version. I'm using air quotes because Postman Pat's been off the air since like 2018.
Yeah.
That one aired on 19th of September 2008. So very British to have your season start in September, I guess.
Yeah, when kids go to school and they need entertaining at night time.
Absolutely. Do you want to take a stab in the dark as to how many episodes of Postman Pat there have been?
Okay, so it's either going to be really high or really low. So it's either something really low like 43 or really high like 112.
What are you going for?
I'm going to go with 112.
Rick, I'm afraid the answer is 184.
Ooh.
Yeah. Children TV shows in Britain tend to buck the trend of short seasons by the looks of things.
Yeah, the British brevity trope that is all pervasive, and yet it just makes them all the more precious.
I do have another question for you.
Okay.
How many years do you think there were between Series 1 ending and Series 2 beginning?
I think that's 6.
15.
Okay.
So the reason why, for most people, that doesn't seem like that big of a deal is in between that time there was 7 TV specials, more or less released every other year.
Okay.
So Postman Pat was originally written by a chap called John Cunliffe, who, interestingly enough, also wrote and presented the first 2 series of another beloved British classic, Rosie and Jim.
Yeah.
Do you remember that fucking theme tune for Rosie and Jim?
Yeah, they were having it off in the biscuit tin. Rosie said ooh, Jim said ah, and out pop baby.
That is not what I fucking meant at all. I meant the actual theme tune for the song, you div.
Yep.
I'm going to take that as a no, you don't remember, so fine. Anyway, Cunliffe didn't retain any of the rights rights to Postman Pat, which, to be frank, is just par for the course in this sort of industry.
Yeah, especially back then.
I think Postman Pat may have been my first ever introduction into stop motion.
Yeah, like, I didn't appreciate it as much at the time, that, like, this kind of thing needed you to, like, make the model and just, like, move the model about in stop motion all the time. And it was, like, it's charming even today.
I mean, the original series was directed by one Ivor Rudd, which is a name I'm unfamiliar with, but then it listed off a bunch of his works, and I'm like, oh, okay, I could see why they got this guy for this. He fucking worked on the Magic Roundabout, the Wombles, and the Herbs.
Yep.
It was all the same shit, stylistic-wise.
Yeah. Sweet.
But yes, sorry, I'm scrolling through my notes that I wrote on this. So something that I've always connected with Postman Sam, rather bizarrely, was always Postman Sam? Postman Pat?
Sam.
is Fireman Sam, funny enough. And the interesting thing is that much like Fireman Sam, Postman Pat is set in Greendale, which is a fictitious village based off of a real-life place, much like Fireman Sam is set in Pontypandy, which is a fictional place in Wales based over, not after one, but two different towns.
Yeah.
Eventually, Postman Pat evolved to have an entire cast of voice actors, although this original series we're going to watch is voiced and narrated entirely by one Ken Barry.
Yeah, it is. He'll put a little voice on for certain things.
It's mostly just Yorkshire.
Yeah, Ted Glendon. Hello, Pat. And Granny Dryden, who only appears in season 1.
Really? I swear she appears in season 2 as well.
Yeah, so Granny Dryden only appears in season 1. It's assumed that she quietly passed away between season 1 and 2.
It was 15 years.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's depressing. But yes, Ken Barry sung a few theme tunes, but is mostly known as a narrator for children's shows, as well as his work as Postman Pat. Notably, he did appear in the official BBC Children in Need medley, which came out like 15 years ago now. It was the thing led by Peter Kay. But he didn't voice Pat in that. He only voiced Ted Glenn.
Okie dokie.
I also found out there's a handful of video games based on Postman Pat. Most of them look shite. I want to give a brief shout out to the YouTube channel Project Long Play for uploading the entirety of Postman Pat and the Greendale Rocket Game Boy Advance game.
Okay. Man, that's...
Trust me, Rick, look this up. It's a 40-minute long video. Don't watch the whole thing. It's absolute shite, even as far as kids' games are concerned. But they did do a rather charming rendition of the Postman Pat theme tune in that engine.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, there's also a Postman Pat movie, isn't there?
Let's not talk about that. that can't have been good, because it was CG for one.
Okay, so I saw like the last third of it, and it revolves around. Okay, it was daytime. I had something to wait for as a delivery or whatever, and rather than watching Loose Women, I watched the Postman Pat movie. So it revolves around around Royal Mail cutting costs by investing money, and they see Pat as the model of what all postmen should be. So they make Metal Sonic of Postman Pat, and they just like make.
No, they don't.
They make a bunch of Robopats, and the army of Robopats decide that that Flesh Pat is insignificant and insufficient. And
you're making that up.
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's such a kid plot.
Yep.
Man, if we're going to talk about the Royal Mail in Postman Pat, man, why couldn't they tackle the fucking postmaster scandal?
Oh, yeah, because that didn't show up until later.
Fucking hell, man. Maybe we have to watch that, but I don't know if I want to give up an hour and a half of my life.
The character is called the Patbot 3000.
That's such a shit name. No, because Metal Sonic's so much better.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Very quickly, in the charts were both Adam and the Ants with Prince Charming, and something almost everyone is familiar with. The Tweets released the Birdie song, and it was still in the charts around the time Pat was released.
Sweet.
So,
yeah, the Birdie song that ended up on every kid's disco to this day. And shake your bum just like my mum.
Okie dokie. Kids ruin everything is what we're learning. But anyway, that's a very brief summary of Postman Pat, mostly for our international audience, I suppose. Because again, I can't imagine this gets sent to other places. It's so fundamentally rooted in British bollocks.
Yeah, like even the Magic Roundabout is a lot more, culturally agnostic and can be be redubbed a lot more easily than Postman Pat.
Yeah, but it's not set. Magic Roundabout is at best a cocaine-fueled nightmare.
Oh, yes.
And, even the Wombles I don't think you can fucking translate to other countries.
Oh, yeah, because they were of Wimbledon, aren't they?
Yeah. Like Clangers. Clangers is easy. They live on the moon and they talk in whistles.
Yeah. Yes.
Is that the name of today's episode, do you think?
Live on the moon and talk in whistles.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And even going back to the Herbs, that wasn't even an English show. I believe that was originally in French.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was easier to dub this sort of shit back then because they didn't bother moving lips in stop motion because it was difficult.
Yeah, because they needed, like, multiple different... Well, they either needed a puppet that had movable lips or multiple puppet heads with mouth open and closed.
And Hardman didn't exist for another 6 years.
No.
Where they just fucking mushed the faces.
Yeah, and you can see all the fingerprints on it. It was great.
Rick, you know what time it is. It's time to talk about our weeks and the goings-on in the wide universe. So please, let us know what you've been doing.
Well, I saw a mutual friend of ours, which is rather less interesting for you as it is for me, because there's like 200 miles between us. And we ended up going to the little gacha place, and he got a Gundam, and I got a Pekora keyring.
Wait, so when you say a Gundam, do you mean like a proper full-size kit, or was it just like a mini figure, or what? Come on, spill the beans.
Oh, it's an incredibly tiny one that costs £6.
Well, I don't know. Gacha machines can be weird sometimes.
Yeah, they can. I wouldn't put it past them to have like the little Gundam heads that you've got one of.
Oh no! Those look a bit too big.
Yeah, but like a miniaturized version of that, like maybe one that's like the height of your thumb, for instance.
That would lose so much detail that it would be pointless.
Kinda, yeah.
So I also want to point out, mine aren't Gundam heads. Mine are Kamen Rider.
Oh yeah, yours a Kamen Rider, but yeah, you get the idea. And he doesn't know what Gundam he has because it's one of the more recent ones.
I'm gonna be honest with you, unless it's Char Azanoble's original Zaku, I'm really not familiar with Gundam.
Yep. Like, yeah, I know a few of them, thanks to Dynasty Warriors Gundam 1 and 2, but not 3.
Did 3 come out?
3 came out. I actually have 3, and I did like the first mission, and the idea was to play it with a friend because it had like couch co-op, and then the friend lost interest, and I was like, oh, let's go back to whatever else I was playing on the Xbox 360 at the time.
Speaking of Dynasty Warriors games, Origins comes out tomorrow, so I'm really excited.
Sweet.
By the time you guys listen to this podcast, it would have been out for an entire weekend, and I would have lost at least 20 hours of my life.
Yeah. Speaking of other friends, I started a new Baldur's Gate playthrough with another friend who is an absolute noob, and things are going very slowly, but it's actually rather rewarding to see him learn things as we go without me holding his hand and doing everything for him.
Oh, Spirit Weapons breaks the game. Awesome.
Yep.
Not Spirit Weapons, I'm thinking of fucking Guardians.
Yeah, Spirit Guardians, yeah. And also, he's so much of a noob, he's picked a good old Forest Gnome Arcane Trickster, which, good on him for picking something unique.
Arcane Trickster is like the fucking class they suggest the subclass they default Astarion to, and it's just like, oh no dear, no.
Oh no. The number of things they've done to make Thief way better, yeah, just makes Thief just the best.
So that 2 fucking bonus actions is bollocks.
Yeah, in a game around actions, is another action more powerful? Yes, it is.
Well, I was working on D&D rules, so I didn't know the Thief did that until you told me well after by the time I was in like Act 3, and I was like, oh, that would have been cool.
Yep, thankfully Withers can fix things for like 200 gold, which is nothing.
It's also like at that point in the game I was like, I don't care. Well, not that I don't care, but it's like my party is just... I was only playing on normal mode, I wasn't playing on bullshit, so level 12, nothing's really a threat anymore, apart from the big brain and winning again.
And this is before honor mode as well, so yeah. Needless to say, I'm not taking the new guy through on honor mode for the first run.
Needless to say, I had the last laugh.
But yeah, that's going quite well. And the other thing is that we are now no longer snowed in as of today.
Oh, were you actually proper snowed in? Because I know Yorkshire had real shit fucking snow.
Our road was so snowy that it was basically like a ski slope slalom of abandoned cars that you had to dodge.
For a bit of context, guys, Rick lives in a proper Yorkshire area with long, winding up and down slope roads, so he's not joking when he says this.
Yeah, So my actual road is a lot less, aggressive of a hill as the road that gets up to it. That's like a mile.
I was going to say, though, there's like 4 different roads on the way to your road that are fucks.
Yeah. And they're like of differing amounts of inclination. Basically, as soon as you got off our estate, it was okay because there was so much through traffic that things was just trampled into sludge and then splattered into shit. So, the main roads were fine, but getting off our estate was a emergency only thing.
Did you, how many Uber Eats drivers did you endanger?
None. Good. Because we didn't think it was a good idea. Not for them, not for anybody. We got a bunch of stuff in before, and whenever someone went out for emergencies, we used the trip wisely and like nipped a little or something and got like 4 days worth of ready meals. But yes, other things out in the wide world. You're familiar with Fatbergs?
I'm familiar with who?
Fatbergs.
Fatbergs. Are you talking about the things in the sewers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar. Well, I'm not intimately familiar, but I know they exist.
Yeah, there's a laboratory in Edinburgh that is now using genetically engineered microbes to turn them into products as a way to, both get rid of them and upcycle them. And the weirdest thing that they're trying to turn them into is perfume.
I mean, like, on the one hand, from a surface level type of view, it's like, well, that can't possibly work. But then I'm remembering ambergris and what that is.
Yep, and one of the top comments on the thread that led me to it was hamburgris.
Ah.
Yeah. So, good on them if it works, and bad on them if it ends up unleashing a genetically engineered plague upon humanity.
I mean, the thing that I'm most disappointed by is the fact that you've got these scientists solving an actual problem of fatbergs, which wouldn't be a problem if people didn't pour fat down their drains. However, I just used the word if, which means you can't trust people with it.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's like, oh, that's good, scientists are doing good, and then it's like, oh, by the way, going to try and turn the result into a product, and it's like, okay, capitalism rears its ugly head and explains where they got the funding from.
Yeah, totally. And the other thing that I've seen out in the world is that a millionaire who has been spending $2 million a year on longevity-enhancing drugs to become immortal has now stopped taking them because he's worried that it's actually accelerating his aging rather than slowing it down.
This was such a weird story, because I only read the headline and I was like, the headline itself is gold, but I can't imagine this story as a fun one.
No.
Because I didn't know this guy existed.
Yeah, he spends $2 million a year on it. 54 pills a day.
Fuck off.
Yep.
Dude, my dad was dying of cancer, and he only had about 30.
Yeah, and that's a fucking lot.
Yeah. By the way, the cancer he had meant he had no immune system. That's why he took so many pills. The pills were not for the cancer.
Yeah. One of the pills that he's taking is actually mimics that. It's an immunosuppressant that prevents organ transplant rejection.
But why are you taking that?
Because he's
stupid.
He's a rube. He's the kind of person who would have been suckered in by the ivermectin kind of thing.
Fucking I'm just so annoyed by all this is why I didn't read the article, because I knew it'd make me fucking mad.
Yeah. He the other things he does is a vegan diet and avoiding the sun.
Avoiding the sun.
Yes.
You can't avoid the sun. You need vitamin D, or is that one of his pills?
I assume it was. And the other one is he used shock treatments on his genitals in an apparent effort to gain the erection of an 18-year-old.
I'm pretty sure that's just a kink thing.
Yeah.
Like, some people like that shit. I'm not going to judge a guy on their kinky factor. I will judge a guy on being a fucking idiot. Like, if you need to electrocute your balls to get a boner, that's weird, but you do you, buddy.
Yeah, it's rather funny and rather silly and rather tragic. The only winners here are the people making the drug.
I'm sure at least some of his dealers were just like, dude, this shit doesn't work. Just give him sugar pills.
If only. But yes, that's about it for things that I've seen and things that I've been. How about you?
Well, let's start off with a bit of a look back on our most recent episodes. Rick, the very last episode that came out, proper episode, not one of our bonuses or a rumble, was the top 5 Warhammer characters.
Yeah.
Rick, do you want to guess which one of us was right about the origin of the term Grimdark?
Was it me?
It was you.
Yeah.
So the second edition of Warhammer 40k had the tagline, in the grim fucking, I can't remember the exact wording. In the grim future.
In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. Yeah.
There you go. Which is a great fucking tagline. And then nerds took the piss out of it because it's so fucking edgy. And thus the term grimdark was born. And the reason why I didn't want to commit to saying that, even though it felt kind of like that could be true, but I don't know, is because as it turns out, it was such a popular saying when it came out, it got retroactively applied to a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
So, yes, Rick was 100% correct on the fact that Warhammer did, in fact, or rather Games Workshop did, in fact, come up with the term grimdark. So good for them.
Yeah. It's not often that I'm pretty confident that it's me that's correct about things like this, but on this one I was pretty sure.
I didn't even say you were wrong. I just said I'm not putting my name towards this because I don't know. But yeah, funny enough, whenever I talk about Warhammer, I end up looking at the Warhammer website to look at the miniatures, and I'm like, oh, right, yeah, it costs 50 quid for a unit of things. Fuck off.
Yeah, we're now at the point where you can buy a 3D printer, print the thing, and throw the 3D printer away and still have money left over.
Dude,
compared to buying the models.
The amount of people who just 3D print knockoff, not even knockoff, better models than Warhammer. The only difference is they're not solid, like they're hollow on the inside, and it's like, oh, boo fucking who, let's play bootleg Warhammer.
Yeah.
Anyway, last week's review, we watched the first episode of Squid Game, so of course I watched all of Series 1 of Squid Game.
Sweet.
Boy, is that a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's one episode that broke me, and I cried like a bitch for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, because there's only going to be one winner, and it's going to be the main guy, but it doesn't prepare you for how everyone else dies.
I will reveal to the world right now what episode made me cry, and that was, I'll say one word, marbles.
Okay.
Those who know. My God, the fucking finale, the final 15 minutes were great. I didn't see that ending coming, and when that reveal happens, it fucking retroactively makes a bunch of things make way more sense, which didn't even seem like they didn't make sense during, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so it gives you a bit of a rewatch bonus.
So, yeah, there's that, but there's also, I have the benefit of the fact that I binged this over about 3 days, so it was all very fresh in my mind. I love the fact that the director, the writer, everyone involved gave the audience a bit of fucking credit, and they didn't do any flashbacks when the reveal happened. They didn't remind you of a bunch of little details, but if it's in your brain, you're like, oh, so that's why that happened, and that's why that happened. They just trust you to get it.
Yes. Okay. Do
you know what I mean, though? There's so many things where there's a shock reveal, and then they have to have a minute-long flashback of just snippets from the series.
Yeah, but for the most part, these are things that can be sold to syndicated networks where, yes, it would have been 8 weeks since you saw the thing that you're referring back to. But
I'm talking about movies do it. And TV shows, fine, whatever, back when that was a real thing. I'm not talking about that. We've been in the streaming era for about 10 years now, Rick.
Yeah, movies are real lowest common denominator things, though. You go there to turn your brain off and be entertained.
Well, maybe you do. There's a certain brand of film where I turn my brain off. I turn my brain off quite a bit during Sonic fucking 3, because that movie's awful, but it's fun.
Yeah, and Marvel shit.
It depends on what Marvel shit it is, depends on how much I care, if I'm being brutally honest. And there are some films where I watch them and I'm just like, I want this character to show up. They didn't show up, fuck this movie.
Yeah.
I alluded to this a bit off screen, as it were, for lack of a better word. Rick, last week I finished and completed The Stick of Truth. This week I finished and completed South Park, The Fractured But Whole.
Yeah, so the class selection is a lot less final than it is in The Stick of Truth, isn't it? You can change classes quite often.
Yeah, you can
unlock other ones as you go through.
Yeah, so you have to play that fucking tutorial 3 times. And when you join the Freedom Pals, you have a little conversation with Timmy, who's just Professor X, and he unlocks all of them. You can just custom build your character, which is 1, great, but 2, also awful, because it's fuck, what is the optimum moveset here?
Yep.
And the answer always depends on, well, that depends. What characters do you bring in your party?
Yeah, because I'm less well versed in what the other characters do other than the Coon in this, rather than Stick of Truth, because Stick of Truth is short enough that you can just watch a person play it.
You can honestly do that with Fractured But Whole. It only took me 15 hours.
Okay.
And the reason why it took so long is I was like a dumb fuck, I was trying to do all the scavenger hunts without a guide, which, no, don't do that, that's dumb.
Yeah. So, Kyle is Kite Man, is he?
Kyle is Kite Man, Stan is Toolshed, Cartman is the Coon, Kenny is Mysterion, Token is Tupperware, Jimmy is Fast Pass. I'm not going to list all the characters, but that, my favourite character by far is Wendy as Cool Girl.
Yeah.
Because one, that's a really funny fucking name, and two, her powers are bullshit strong.
Yeah, she got like 15 phones. Apparently her class is also very strong when you get that, if you got the DLC, the final girl class.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I don't have any of the DLCs, so I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah, I don't know how much the DLC actually does, but yeah.
Well, there's a bus stop in game which has DLC plastered on the timetable, and you click it and it shows you the 3 DLCs there are. You've got the Danger Room, which is Token's Danger Room, which is just a bunch of challenge combat encounters that give you exclusive gear. Gear in this game is just cosmetic, so you don't have to care about what you wear.
Yeah, totally.
You also have 2 story-based DLCs, which I'm half tempted to pick up, but only when they're on sale.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the second one is, but I know the first one is like something Casa Bonita, where you have to team up with the Coon and Mysterion to go and deal with demons in Casa Bonita or some bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the big bad turns out to be Mitch Connor, which, again, this game it feels like came out so far after the Stick of Truth. All of the jokes are different because they've got all these other characters to take the piss out of.
Yeah.
So, like, we've got PC Principal, Big Gay Al is now in a relationship with Mr. Slave, which wasn't a thing during Stick of Truth, apparently. Mitch Connor sucks. Morgan Freeman teaches you how to fart through time. I know there's a super secret hard boss fight where you can try and fight Morgan Freeman. I've not done that. I'm not going to bother. I don't care. I just wanted to beat the game.
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
But yeah, this game is far superior to Stick of Truth. They changed the combat system so that it's a bit more fun. And also, just having more than just 2 party members means you can do more bullshit with the enemies.
Yeah. Isn't it more kind of...
it's grid-based.
Like grid-based, yeah.
And it makes it even funnier because you go back in time and fight yourself during the beginning of the game, which is still Stick of Truth characters.
Sure.
And you have Kyle literally shouting at past Kyle saying, "Your understanding of JRPG mechanics is lacking." It's so fucking dumb. I love it.
Yeah, sweet.
And we ended up I completely forgot this was a thing, but you end up going to the mansion on the hill and meeting up with that weird doctor guy who's a character I thought was dead in canon.
I thought he was dead as well. Was it Dr. Mephisto or something?
Yeah, that's the one. That's exactly the one.
Yeah.
And you go through a part where it's like, here's me trying to clone my son. Some of you may have forgotten that I had a son. He died ages ago when a bunch of kids thought it would be funny to steal something from Barbra Streisand, and it just cuts to Mysterio going, "Oh shit, I think that was us."
Yep.
And he still has an obsession with putting 4 asses on everything.
Yeah, and the legendary 5-ass monkey.
Oh god. But the best thing about it is you've got Craig with you during this part, and Craig is one of my favourite characters in South Park because he just sandbags the plot all the time. I remember there was one of his episodes was just him being like, "No, I'm not doing this, I'm going home," and the plot still happens around him, but nothing happens to him. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dr. Mephisto says, yes, so I'm putting 4 asses on a monkey, and Craig just goes, "Why?" Just goes, "Oh, I see, so the Jesus people got their hands in you." It's like, and he just keeps asking the question, "Why are you doing this?" And he never gets an answer for it.
Yeah.
He just gets poo-pooed as like a religious nut job. It's so fucking stupid. Rick, a trailer dropped.
What dropped?
The Daredevil Born Again trailer.
Ooh, the Disney Plus revival of the Netflix continuation.
Yeah, it looks good. And I know trailers are meant to make things look good, but a lot of Marvel trailers have been real shit lately.
Fair enough. Yeah.
We don't learn a lot while also learning a lot. First things first, Wilson Fisk is mayor of New York City.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So he didn't die when he disappeared after being shot. Oh, shock horror.
When did he get shot? I'm going to assume that was in Echo.
Yeah, no, it wasn't in Echo. It was in the Hawkeye one.
Yeah, but he showed up in Echo, which came out after that.
Oh, did he show up in Echo? Okay, I didn't watch that.
Yeah, I also didn't watch it, but everyone said the episode where Fisk showed up was the best one.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't watch it, so yeah, there we go.
So yeah, Fisk is mayor of New York City. I think his name's White Tiger. It's a very interesting plotline. in Daredevil, shall we say. Bullseye appears to have been released from prison, and there's a scene where Daredevil is fighting a really hairy gentleman, and then one of the final shots of the trailer is just Daredevil going, Frank, and it's fucking Punisher!
Sweet.
And by the way, Punisher looks pissed off, and then Daredevil just says, put down the hatchet. It's so fucking Marvel.
Sweet.
So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this series. I think I said before where I wasn't really excited for Daredevil until I see something, and now I've seen something.
Yeah.
So this drops in March. It's going to be very interesting because Andor Season 2 is dropping in April.
Okay.
So we might have some crossover.
Yeah, maybe so.
In terms of timetables, not in universe, obviously.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely, yeah, but like... and then the Punisher popped a cap in Darth Vader's ass.
Darth Vader can't show up in Andor, you know this. Oh wait, yes he can.
No. Well, he's enough of a prima donna to be an official Disney princess.
What the fuck are you on about?
Oh yeah, sorry, sorry. Darth Vader in Andor, yeah, my bad, yeah. Yeah, he is, yeah, he can show up in that.
Yeah, but the reason why I was initially confused is like, oh, Andor's set after episode 6, and then it's like, oh no, it's not, it's very explicitly before 4.
Yeah, it's like between 3 and 4.
But yeah, the last thing I did on a personal level is I replayed a very old game, mostly because South Park made me real nostalgic.
Oh?
I replayed in its entirety Simpsons Hit and Run.
Yeah.
I think that game was remembered fondly because people only remember level 1 and 2.
Yeah, because children don't get very far.
Level 6 and 7 are bastards.
Yeah.
I spent an hour of my life playing Mission 6. Yeah, Mission 6 on level 6, which is you're forced into the Globex villain car, and you have a minute and 40-ish to destroy a bunch of lasers. Laser giving out booths, and then once you destroy the last one, you have 50 seconds to get back to where you started.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Okay. Yeah. In any car, that would be hard.
Do you know what's also harder?
Go ahead.
They put those fucking laser booths in locations which are so bastardy that there's always NPCs clustered around them, and if you hit an NPC while driving in your car, it gives you a massive boost to your hit and run meter. Do you know what's harder than trying to get to that spot in 50 seconds? Trying to do it with police after you at the same time.
Oh boy.
It was a very miserable experience. I still love that game to death, but boy, do I fucking hate.
Just in general, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I will admit, like, during those last 2 levels, I'm just thinking, man, you really wouldn't need to do much to re-release this.
No.
Like, you could keep the graphics and everything. Like, I'm sure people would bitch if you just re-released it with the current graphics. But, I say current graphics, it was like 2005, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like all you have to do is like pump up the anti-aliasing, because like art styles like that, it's the Simpsons art style. It's kind of timeless, and all you have to do is do the same thing but with higher fidelity.
If they really wanted to go all out, they'd try and do some cell shading weirdness,
which isn't really even that hard.
Yeah, I know, but it's arguably not good in 3D.
Yeah, fair enough.
What was it? I think Borderlands did okay. Was that cell shading? Am I making that up?
Borderlands was a weird one where it was its own kind of style. That was like it was like a living comic.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then it was weird because they tried to keep it up for Borderlands 3, but because they updated the graphics a bit too much, it no longer looked like it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it looked more like a regular game, and because it was a lot more charming in Borderlands 1 and 2.
Absolutely. But yeah, Simpsons Hit and Run is great. I don't think I'll ever bother 100%ing that game.
I don't blame you.
I whenever I play this game, I always get all the collector cards because that's the only thing where I'm like, yeah, that's pretty easy. I do all the side missions and the side races. I watched the Itchy and Scratchy cartoon that you get for unlocking, for collecting all the collector's cards, and it really annoyed me, Rick.
Oh?
It's called 500 Meter Gash.
Oh, okay.
Which would imply that it's Scratchy that's the cat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which implies that Scratchy would get, like, cut to death. No, Itchy pumps him full of steroids and his heart explodes.
Okay.
How does that make sense, Rick?
I mean, no. yeah, it's
it's
dumb.
It's also animated in engine, so it looks really shit.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, great game. Honestly, holds up still. If you want to replay an old PS2 game, Hit and Run is still pretty good. Although those last 2 levels are infuriating.
Yes.
Ready for some news?
Let's go.
There's no nice way to say this. My first 2 stories are real bummers. Tony Slattery has passed away at the age of 65.
Oh.
For those of you who aren't familiar, Tony Slattery was an actor and comedian. He did a lot of work on like raising awareness on depression and other mental disorders in the early 2000s. I know he showed up on Stephen Fry's documentary about depression.
Yeah, totally.
More importantly and more cheerfully, he was actually a mainstay on the British version of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah, sweet.
He was very funny, very good. It's weird because he would flip-flop from having a very dry sense of humour to just being silly, and you didn't know which version you were going to get.
Yeah, totally.
If you've only ever seen the American version of Whose Line Is It Anyway, I can honestly recommend the British version, because, don't worry, we had Ryan Stiles and Colin Mockery from time to time as well.
Yeah, and it's, what was it, Clive Armstrong, was it?
Anderson, I want to say?
Clive Anderson.
Yeah.
I like Clive Anderson. I really like Clive Anderson.
I thought you were going to make a joke there.
No, I just like him. I just like the guy.
I like him to a certain degree, and then you find out he was a lawyer, and then you're like, oh.
Yeah, fair enough.
And the only reason I know he's a lawyer is because they used to take the piss out of him for it on Keel High. In other news, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, Rick. It looks real bad for Mr. Neil Gaiman.
Oh, damn.
He's had accusations levelled at him earlier. Well, it was actually last year at this point. We kind of covered it then. More allegations have come out. I don't recommend prying into this too much because the woman who has accused him most recently has allowed herself to be named and has gone into graphic detail as far as her accusations are concerned. And it's really not good.
Yeah. This might be one of those where I really do have to separate the creator from the creation.
Oh, it's fine, right? Rick. It's fine, Rick. Good Omens was done by Terry Pratchett.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah. Just extricate him from the one thing that I really like.
It's only fair to say that Gaiman has publicly stated that the allegations are false.
Yeah.
There shouldn't. I've done this thing where I hold off jumping on a bandwagon until it's pretty clear which side may or may not be telling the truth. However, I will add the caveat of I don't know why you would make this up to this level of detail.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, I know some people might be screaming, "Oh yeah, but they might," and you're correct, they might, but it just doesn't. No, I don't think someone would make this up. That's my own personal opinion. Obviously, in the eyes of the law and everything else, Gaiman is innocent until proven guilty. But Yeah, it doesn't look good. Don't look into the reports if you're squeamish because it's really unpleasant, and that's all I'll say on the matter.
Yeah, totally.
Rick, I'm only going to bring this up because we're recording on the 16th of January 2025, which is a day earlier than we normally record.
Uh-huh.
A leaker has claimed, and several leakers have decided to jump on the bandwagon and say, yes, that's correct, that the Switch 2 will be announced today.
Okay, well, we'll find out.
Yeah, we're halfway through the day of 16th of January, so if the Switch 2 is released today, that's why we don't talk about it.
Yes.
You ready for some wrestling news?
Let's go.
One Pentagon Jr. has finally debuted in WWE, and his match was awesome.
Alrighty.
He had a 10-minute long-ish match. It was fun, it was smooth, it was fluid. Fuck me, Chad Gable can wrestle too, but I'm pretty sure people who are regulars of WWE probably already knew that. I bring this up partly because, yay, Penta's in WWE, good for him, he gave a great speech. But also, I want to point out, by my god, Netflix's fucking interface for watching anything that was streamed previously on Netflix is awful.
Yeah. I keep getting push notifications for, oh, come on, watch wrestling.
Why are you getting push notifications? Turn that shit off.
Yeah, that's what made me turn them off.
Yeah, that's not even what I'm referring to. I mean, actually watching it, it's not good. It's clunky. It's awful. It's not like Netflix's regular UI at all. Now, this might work when you're watching it live and actually streaming it. However, I'm not staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning to watch wrestling. I will watch it the next day. And yeah, they need to improve this.
Yeah, fair enough.
Haven't got much else to say about that. I appreciate that you can't really talk about it because 1, you don't watch wrestling, 2, you don't live stream things off Netflix.
I did watch someone else rebroadcasting the end of the live stream of the boxing match.
Why?
Because I was in a group chat independently of the fact that it was on, and one of them decided, oh yeah, let's just live stream the end of this.
Okay, I can think of better wastes of 5 minutes of your time.
Okay, but I was in the chat.
Okay, I'm still gonna mock you for watching any of that.
Yeah.
You gave money to Logan Paul. Good job.
Technically, I didn't. One person person did between 8 people.
Rick, what are we doing today? Or rather, what are we doing first?
We are doing the original Postman Pat. This is going to be Pat Classic, Season 1, Episode 1, Postman Pat's Finding Day. 3, 2, 1, and go.
Classic bit of guitar.
I'm bopping.
I forgot he was a ginger.
Yeah. Apparently he's canonically Jewish as well.
That's... okay. Why would that come up?
I don't know. I think it's like one time he's like delivering things on Christmas and people are like going, oh yeah, you're such a saint for delivering this on Christmas. And he's like, doesn't matter to me.
But does he say it doesn't matter to me because I'm Jewish? Or he could equally be Muslim by that logic? He
could be. I think his neighbours in the reboot are, well, they're brown. I don't know whether they're Indian or Pakistani.
Depending on who you ask, there's no difference, Rick.
Oh,
and those,
man, yeah.
And those people,
from the
1940s,
yeah. Yeah. You asked someone from the 1940s who never updated their worldview.
I was just talking about plain old racists.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, Rick. This looks really shit, but it's making me smile.
I know, right?
Look at that fucking... No one does water paintings as backgrounds anymore.
No. And he knows his own theme tune.
Yeah.
I also appreciate the detail that the roads are only big enough for one van.
Yeah, I also like those old school fucking 1700 walls that you only see in Yorkshire and Wales.
Yeah.
Although the Welsh one has different fucking shaped stones.
Hey, Granny Dryden. Oh, Mrs. Goggins.
I was going to say, because this woman is in multiple series.
Yeah, Mrs. Goggins is the post office lady.
Someone's birthday, maybe?
So it would seem.
So here's a fun little story I found out from the creator of Postman Pat when I was doing research. And in about 2015, I want to say, because he was kicking around for a fucking while.
Yeah.
He said that he's had like 12 different people come up to him and say that he was the inspiration for Postman Pat. And the guy who created Postman Pat's just like, okay.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so obviously when we watched this as kids, we would not have appreciated how fucking long it would take to stop animate this bollocks.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like the two FPS children.
I think you're being generous at 2 FPS. I think it's 1 FPS.
Oh, the little bits of detail.
I will say this narrator's really reminding me of Mick Miller.
A little bit.
But I think that's because I've just got the Noddy story stuck in my head.
Sure.
Okay. Rick, if you've not seen that, I will link it to you after we're done today because it's so funny.
Yep. I will need this one.
It's a whole fucking 6-minute long routine of him talking about his friend who narrates the Noddy radio shows, except he hates kids and he's an alcoholic.
Imagine rinsing kids at a jumping game because you've got legs that are longer than the kids.
Give me your milk money. Oh my god, the one on the left's eyes were horrible. Did you see that?
Yeah, they were like half closed.
Poor Jess.
Hey, it's Jess's choice to come out and on adventures every day.
This is true. By the by, doing research for this show, I didn't click the link because I don't want to know, but apparently Jess got their own spin-off show.
Oh boy, that's... Ooh.
Yeah, that's sinking.
Okay. Like, I found it weird enough that Shaun the Sheep got his own spin-off show.
Yeah, but they made that surprisingly big, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Like, it even got a movie.
Did he?
Yeah, the Shaun the Sheep movie, yeah.
Jesus.
I think he got abducted by aliens.
But he's not a cow. Everyone walking like they cack themselves. What'd you get for your birthday? I got some string.
I got a wooden ball. A ball and a single paddle, so you can't even play table tennis with anybody.
Nope. She got more than one.
Yeah, she got 2.
Bitch.
Wrong side out.
That's a northern as fuck expression, ain't it?
Yeah, it's it's like a got out of the bed on the wrong side of the bed. Got out of the bed the wrong side. Got out of bed on the wrong side this morning or something.
Yeah. Don't know about you, Rick, but if I ever... Oh, well, I've seen your bedroom, so I know you don't have this problem. If I got out on the wrong side of the bed, my face would hit a wall.
Yep.
That sounds fucked up, doesn't it, me saying, oh, I know what your bedroom looks like.
It does a bit.
I love how Jess is like a parrot for a pirate.
He is, or she is.
That fucking license plate's super illegal, by the way.
Yeah, Pat 1. Actually, there was a time when it wasn't.
Was that time in the early 80s?
I mean, technically it's not illegal now if it's the one that is that.
Sorry, 1 second. That water was really smoothly animated.
It was, yeah.
I don't know if they actually took the time to animate something or if they just poured water and did some real bullshit recording it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I remember postcards.
I was going to make a joke, but 1, it's not appropriate, and 2, I don't think they're Catholic.
Yeah, it was one of those, like, I half expected him to go, she could have lost it in the church if she ever came.
I'm not going to say it. That was fucking weird.
He found something else.
Yeah, someone threw one of the little Bibles on the floor.
Yeah.
Take that,
bang his head
dickhead.
on? Yeah. Oh, he's not that much of a dickhead.
He's a priest. Well, he's not even a priest, he's a vicar, isn't he? Because I'm going to assume this is C of E.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just a vicar, yeah.
Man, isn't C of E wild when you learn the fucking history?
Yeah, it's just God fan fiction because Henry VIII wanted to smang his lady in waiting.
It's just like fucking... Imagine worshipping a division of Christianity that you know is bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay, but part of the reason that there was another schism was because, like, they also knew that all of the pomp and circumstance and pomp and ceremony that the Catholic side does is also a little bit too much.
Yeah, but at least they used bullshit god blindness reasons back before the internet.
Yeah.
Not like Henry VIII, who had access to modern internet, as we know.
Man, imagine how much carnage there would be if Henry VIII had Tinder.
He didn't need Tinder.
Yeah.
He just called his council of noblemen and was just like, cool, who has a virgin for me?
Who has a virgin appropriate or a virgin adjacent person for me?
The Earl of Cumberland's got a daughter who recently turned 13. Oh, a bit old, said Henry, but she'll do.
Oof.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, as I was saying it, I'm like, is this joke okay? It's like, fuck it, Henry VIII's been dead for hundreds of years, who's going to give a fuck?
Yeah, man, I was about to go, like, to make a response joke, and I'm like, no, it's, no.
Just like how I stopped making all my kiddie diddling jokes about the church.
Yes.
I was just like, I'm not going to say them, but I'm thinking them. How much pussy do you think Pat got?
All. I'm surprised that half the kids around town don't have curly red hair.
They make it very clear that the only kids with curly red hair are like his nephews and nieces.
Yeah, his actual kids. Yeah, the kids of him and his missus, yeah.
No, nephews and nieces.
Oh, nephews and nieces, okay. Yeah, because because curly red hair is recessive.
I guess it would be, wouldn't it?
Hmm. It's a rather cute way of, like, introducing multiple characters. You just go on, like, a tour of the village, delivering A to B to C to D.
Yeah, but Jesus Christ, Ted Glenn was a blacksmith originally?
Yeah, well, he's a handyman.
Ah, okay. Jesus, okay.
Yeah.
In my old house, Rick, I think I've told you this before, we had a stable door as our kitchen door.
Yeah.
God damn, that was a useful door.
And that's the one that you shot your mum through, wasn't it, with a hose?
Oh, I did tell you about the stable door. Yeah, I did. Yeah, oh, she was pissed that day.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would the doll be in his shop?
I don't know, because he's a handyman and he always does things. He might have found it broken and he was like, oh, okay, I'm going to stitch it up. Yeah, he's got his own song as well. It's the Leave It With Me song.
Handyman is a real profession that's kind of died out, isn't it?
Yeah. It's because of circuits.
Circuits?
Yeah, like your handyman
how the
can't
fuck
be...
did you do that, you old plonker? But yeah, sorry, circuits, handyman.
Just because, like, your tinkering, like, handyman can't be expected to know, like, full electronics, and, like, even more so when it comes to, like, the computer side. So someone who would tinker with a car and fix it up, they can't do it anymore because of all the computer software.
That man, there's a skit in Letterkenny about exactly that, where you got like four manly men crowded around one woman who's like lamenting about her car troubles, and they're all like, it could be the carburetor, it could be the brakes, it could be blah blah, and they're going into all these technical details about how to fix certain mechanisms on the car, and then someone goes, could be the computer, and they all just start mumbling, going until the woman says just another car part, and then they perk up again.
Yeah.
They all acknowledge that if it's the computer, then it's fucked.
Yeah.
Even mechanics don't like the computers and the electronics in cars, because a while ago, my mum's car, the alarm system went all funny on it, where if you pressed the lock on it, the alarm would just start going off. And when the bloke came out to have a check, he was just like, fuck. I'm going to have to replace this, and this. I'll order the parts, and we'll get there in about 3 months or something. He never did that repair, it just fixed itself, because electronics are bullshit.
Yeah, they are. Oh yeah, the travelling greengrocer kind of thing.
Why's he got a Hitler stash?
I don't know, because this was after Hitler, so they knew about it.
'Twas the fashion in Yorkshire.
Maybe because a wider mustache would cover the fact that he was smiling, and it would look like he wasn't smiling.
Maybe, but come on. Oh, fuck me, I hate that weasel-eyed mole kid.
Yeah, they screwed on the smiling head and not the sad head.
And ate all the jam sandwiches. Okay, listen, I know it's really silly, but boy, that scene took a whole 10 days to animate.
Yeah, it would have done, yeah. Like that, like, the fact that they managed to make that flat as well, as a thing that the kid was holding. Yeah, that's actually quite a marvel of stop motion animation with the technology that they had.
And any kids would just be like, oh yeah, it's a party. Any adults are like, why the fuck did they bother doing that? Hey, good old Barry.
Yeah.
Hey, Mogford, good job. Bullshit was there one animator.
Yeah. That's the 80s for you.
Obviously, we're not doing a proper wind down because we've got another episode to review. But very briefly, what are your thoughts?
It was cute and nostalgic, and I'm pretty sure I've seen that episode 100 times.
Oh yeah, that episode felt very familiar.
Yeah, it's a very safe episode to just play because it doesn't deep dive too deep into the Postman Pat lore and the.
Rick, I know you're doing it to take the piss, but I hate the fact you said it.
Yeah. But what do you think?
Yeah, it was fun. I think I can sum up the episode with what I felt in the first few minutes, which is, boy, does this look like shit, but boy, am I getting nostalgia fucking a buzz right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, we're not just watching the classic, we're also watching the modern. Although, I'm saying modern, this episode came out in 2008.
Yeah, true.
But it's modern as far as Pat is concerned.
It is.
So yeah, very briefly, the only thing I know about this show is that the little country village has evolved into a big old fucking city. So much that Postman Pat needs a fucking helicopter.
Yeah, I don't know why he's got a helicopter. But yeah, the family that he lives next door to have the train station.
Right, yeah. I could see the little train station in the opening before I press play. Although I will admit, the background with the hills looks a lot like the scenery that Jackass used before doing a shit volcano.
It looks like it does look like the train set that they have at the train museum as well.
Dude,
it's like massive.
I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I kind of want to play a game of Warhammer on this.
Tyranids eat the Postman Pat universe.
I mean, I could do Kill Team and have my salamanders trying to protect Pat.
Yeah, your salamanders will protect Pat while the Tyranids try to assault everything. Meanwhile, the orcs look on and want to fight whoever wins. And whoever loses.
I was going to say fight whoever wins. They're joining straight away.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's enough bullshit. Hey, let's watch the Pat Modern. Rick, for those watching along at home, what exactly are we watching?
Yeah, it's Season 6, Episode 1, Special Delivery Service. A Runaway Cow. 3, 2, 1, and go.
Oh, fuck me, yeah, that does need to get turned down. I don't know what series he was involved in, but, again, during my investigation, Peter Sallis was involved at one point as a narrator.
Yeah, I don't know when.
But, as soon as someone says Peter Sallis, Postman Pat, I'm like, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
So the helicopter thing was Pat 3. The motorbike appears to be Pat 2. So does that mean the van's still Pat 1?
Oh, it's got to be, ain't it? Yeah.
I can't think of a less efficient vehicle for delivering a large amount of post than a motorbike.
Yeah, motorbike. Yeah, the motorbike is just for basically getting to and from the new van's Pat 2.
Oh, interesting. It's got the same license plate as fucking as the fucking bike.
The bike. Yeah.
Letters through your door.
Letters through your door.
Fuck off.
There's a whole air fight. Oh yeah, that's a weapon in Worms.
I can't help but notice that the cat toy that the disabled girl got had no legs. Which is weird, because someone else got like a pony and that one definitely had legs. The animation appears to have improved based solely on the fact that the lips now move.
Yeah, true.
So he's now a mechanic instead of a handyman. That's a pretty logical change in career.
It is, yeah.
I'm generally surprised it's not a flip phone.
Yeah, he's got it. It still does look very stop motiony.
I believe it still is.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think some elements might be CG just to make life easier, but for the most part, I believe only the movie is fully CG.
Yeah, like the helicopter's got to be CG.
Not necessarily, but it would be incredibly difficult to do that with stop motion without seeing something. But then again, even if the CG is just brushing out things that help it keep it suspended.
Yeah, totally.
Who the fuck wraps a fish?
Yeah, in that size and shape.
Now, Christmas isn't that far gone, Rick, but I had some real fucking annoyingly shaped things to wrap for Christmas. Do you know what I did?
Put it in a box.
Yeah!
I had one weird-shaped thing that I gave to my folks to wrap up for me, and they didn't because it was weird. It was a bag of M&Ms.
Oh, that's easy to wrap.
Yeah, it's just a football of M&Ms.
Is there anything more Yorkshire than a cow being in the post office? If it was drinking tea, maybe. Had a flat cap on.
Yeah, I think that's a Highland cow as well.
It is, but to be fair...
That's a Scottish cow.
They're invading again.
There we are, that's the most Yorkshire thing. The word come instead of cam. Rogue bovine. Yeah, as if she painted it in that amount of time.
I mean, she could be an avant-garde. That's the wrong word. Well, what's the word I was looking for? Savant is the word I was trying to use. Not avant-garde, fucking idiot.
An art savant.
Yeah, that's a copper. Only a cop would try and book a fucking cow.
Yeah, yep.
Or is this just Yorkshire? Can all Yorkshiremen communicate with cows? Did I miss a memo?
Apparently. There's no need for that kind of language.
Get to fuck. Could you imagine if Pat just said that to someone?
No, it'd be someone else saying it to Pat. Except everyone seems to like Pat.
Pat just is transferred from this quiet little Yorkshire town to London, and he's not used to being called a cunt on a regular basis. That is a horrifying looking horse.
The horse looks like a shitpost.
To be fair, when it comes to cow designs, you can either use a Highland cow or like a black and white cow. Those are your two choices.
The Frisians, yeah.
Can't use a Jersey cow because they look really boring.
Yeah, it's just a shaved Highland cow.
It's a pretty good description, but bear in mind they also don't have horns.
Yeah, true.
And they've usually got fuck-off massive udders.
Mm-hmm. Man, the policeman's only complaint is that cows are meant to be in fields.
To be fair, you don't want a cow to shit on the street.
You don't, no. You don't want anything to shit on the street.
Yeah, but I've shoveled cow shit and it's disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, how fast is that cow going and knocked the car over?
Yeah, it busts the cow out of the way and Pat, bashed his head on the open door. So that's just negligence on the policeman's part.
Yeah. Not great, dickhead. Cuss this man out in Yorkshire for me, Rick.
Why do you keep checking on every bloody thing that I do? Can you not leave me to do my own bloody job, you dickhead?
That's it, you're fired.
Yep.
I'm just remembering that fucking skit they did with Carl Pilkington, where it's just like, don't come in, you're fucking fired. One chance. Carl, you didn't even give them one chance. No, because they did it before. That's not fucking what? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Just eating all the hay for all the horses.
Good job using the term hay and not straw.
Well, yeah, when it's in a bale, it's hay, isn't it? And when it's dried.
Nope. Hay, straw is basically a waste product, and that's why you use straw to line beds and keep things warm, whereas hay has got actual nutrients in. If you feed an animal straw, they're not going to get any nutrients, but their bellies are going to get full, so it's going to completely fuck them up.
Yeah, fair enough.
So you use straw to make a bed for a rabbit. You use hay to feed things.
Sure.
Also,
food bribery.
Yeah, that's interesting considering he's just got free food on the fucking floor.
Yeah, there's free food on the floor, and there's free food everywhere. Yeah, it's just grass.
Fun fact about cows, they can't kick directly behind them.
Can they not? Okay.
The way they kick is they kick to the side.
Sure. Okay.
Another fun fact, that's the very first thing we got taught before getting into an enclosure with a really pissed off cow.
When in doubt, get up its arse.
Well, basically because everyone was trying not to stand behind it, so they were standing to the sides of the cow because they didn't want to get kicked. Because every animal that's large that they've seen kick is a horse.
Yeah, which very definitely can, smack you.
If you stand to the side of a horse, it probably won't be able to kick you, without being very obvious about it.
Yeah, like turning at 90 degrees.
Horses terrify me. I hated working with horses.
Jess has got that ferret up the trousers kind of energy right now.
Yeah, good old compo. Why are you leaving it open, you fucking dickheads?
I know, right?
I understand why Pat's being a knobhead and not double-checking, but, she's in animal husbandry. She should at least just look into the fucking container and go, oh, the cow's fucked off.
Yeah.
How the fuck, guys? How did it get there?
It's a mountain goat.
It's not.
Yeah, it's a highland cow. Therefore, it stands on the high bit of land.
You're not authorised to do that, Pat.
You need an animal harness and an animal handler and a license. Jess wants to help.
There was a piss take of the Postman Pat theme when I was a kid that's just dawned on me. Where,
Postman Pat ran over his cat.
No,
all the blood went flying.
That.
Pat was really crying.
Better than that. It's only about a 10-second long clip, and it goes in the normal tune, Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat, and it cuts to the chaviest sounding motherfucker ever, just going, and his fucking big cock. it's so fucking it's funny Postman the first
Pat
time,
and his fucking big cock.
Oh god, it was so funny. Oh. There's media I remember consuming or being shown when I was, in secondary school that I can't find anymore, because even when I type in the exact things that happened, it's it just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Because the other one I remember seeing is this very beautiful blonde lady, clearly naked, about to rim someone. She leans in and she just gets farted straight in the face, and she just goes, God, you fucking asshole, and then slaps him on the bum and fucks off. It's so funny. Don't fart in people's faces.
No.
Unless you're filming it, and it will be funny. I'm sorry, did fucking Jess just get a special little pilot cap?
Yeah, he does. It makes him cute.
Gee, I thought that was the fucking girl in the wheelchair waiting down the bottom then. That cannot be how you do it.
No, it's ooh.
And that's how she died. I don't know about you, Rick, but from that angle, her nose looked very odd.
Yeah.
I just realised, we've got no narration in this new version.
Yeah, it's all... Yeah, because of the voice acting. You don't need to, extrapolate.
I suppose so. I'm trying to think now, because I've not watched Fireman Sam in years. Did the original Fireman Sam have narration, or did that just have voice acting?
I think it was one guy doing everything. But But I think he did. I think the guy doing Fireman Sam put more effort into changing his voice for things.
Yeah, the guy who did the OG Postman Pat is like me doing D&D voices.
I don't know. I can tell when different people are doing things.
Yeah, that's because I say who's speaking before I speak.
Yep.
She's not clinging on to the cow as it's lifted.
Ride the cow.
Okay, she's not. Good. I was going to say, because that would be dumb.
She just stays up there on the... I'll get down somehow.
That harness is not secure at all.
It's not. You can see the cow tipping out.
This isn't how you transport cows, by the way.
No.
Like, the post office won't transport a cow for you.
But it's a special delivery service. It's not the post office. It just so happens to be red these days.
Hmm.
It's a the shining future of privatizing the post office, so that Pat can pay for all of this.
The future of, you mean like 2 weeks ago when it got finalised?
Yeah.
It was already privately owned, but now it's privately owned by a company that's not even British. Actually, I don't think it's a company. I think it's literally just like a Czechoslovakian fucking billionaire. Is that a real country, or did they get changed to like Czech Republic?
Oh yeah, Czechia I think is the current name.
Ah. Look at how many more artists there are on this series.
Yeah, because they had to make it more quickly than like spending 6 months on an episode.
That's fair. Alrighty, so that ends the very first episode of Special Delivery Service and our viewing for today. Rick, what did you think of that episode of Pat?
It was alright. The animation was great, but like it loses the charm when you've got an entire team working on it, you know, to a degree.
I get what you're saying, but like they had an entire team working on it, but it could have still had a similar style. I don't know what it is. It's certainly a lot more fluid.
Yeah, and it's faster.
Well, yeah, because it's not one frame per second anymore.
Yeah, but like not only is it more fluid, but it is actually faster. Like Pat will just like walk faster to get somewhere rather than skipping frames and getting there. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, it was fine. Like as far as Postman Pat is concerned, fine, whatever. Like this wasn't part of my childhood, therefore there are no warm, fluffy feelings.
Yeah.
It's just an episode of kids' TV. I've got my gripes about certain aspects of like fucking no, you can't send cow through post.
Yeah, totally. You can't cow the post.
Could you imagine, oh god, the amount of time it would take to wrap?
And it would bugger about with it as well.
Yeah. Oh god, like you just open it up and it's just, 1, the cow is dead, and 2, it's covered in cow shit.
Yeah, and 3, you're having to sign for your next door neighbour who wasn't in because it's their cow.
Oh god, yeah, that would be the creme de la creme.
Yeah, so the car, and it won't fit in the porch, so the car just leave it.
Jeez, fuck. Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, no, that's how it goes. Yeah, no, it was fine. It was a stupid plot line, but it's going to be stupid. Like, the post office is just wanking at the thought that, yeah, we got a fleet of helicopters. No, this isn't how the Royal Mail works, guys.
Yeah. Man, I'm just imagining, like, there being helicopter races between the police and the post office.
I actually am fond of the idea that the post office has a helicopter, but the police department doesn't.
Yeah, that's why the policeman's salty, because Postman Pat is more trusted by the populace to actually have access to the third dimension of the sky, whereas the policeman just has to use his shitty wagon and go around victimizing the common everyman.
Like, we saw it on prime display in this episode. The copper in Greensdale is a cunt.
Yeah, he is.
Like, he would be the sheriff of Nottingham, being like, oh, it's your birthday, little boy, what did you get? And I got 2 whole pennies. Cool, the taxman's due, and he takes them.
Yep.
Bastard.
What a wanker.
But yes, Rick, let's get into our usual wind down. Except we're gonna add one little caveat to this, which is again is sort of a feature we've had before. Where before we get to favourite moment and MVP, out of the 2 episodes we watched, which one was your favourite and why?
To be honest, it was the first one because it was like based on what they had. I think they did more.
I get what you're saying.
I think they did more with a limited amount of knowledge, budget, and just general. I don't want to be mean by saying proficiency, but like they like really stretched the full abilities of one guy whose name escapes me, who just did everything.
And then the narrator was Ken Barry. The creator was John Sutcliffe.
Yep.
Sutcliffe? Cunliffe? I fucking forgot his surname. My apologies.
Cunliffe.
Yeah, Sutcliffe is the Yorkshire Ripper. We don't want to talk about that.
No, no. And there was the third person in the thing was the one who did the animations, and so hats off to him. And by the time it comes to see the later seasons, when you've got a whole team working on it, it looks good, but there's not like the single person's personal touch running all the way through it. You know,
I get what you're saying. However, I do think like the credits were super trimmed in the first episode, because that's kind of how they be. Like, we didn't get any credit for the set, for who made the set, which is a pretty big deal. Who made the models? It could have been the artist. The artist could have done all of that, but I doubt it. That doesn't tend to be how this sort of thing works, even in the 80s.
Yeah. But how about you? Which one did you prefer, and why?
It was definitely the first one, and I'm not ashamed to admit that it's almost entirely nostalgia based, because objectively it was worse.
Yeah. Although the story made more sense than Cow.
Yeah, because I got to be honest with you, I think it screams to a time in which a lot of millennials, and quite probably later as well, sort of long for, where you could just live in a village where there's like 20 people.
Yeah.
and it's nice. You don't have to worry about nothing apart from the problem is one little girl loses their door and the whole town has to fucking look for it because there's only so many of you.
Yeah, there's only 8 people, and there's only 8 people doing like 3 jobs, and the rest of them are housewives and children.
Yeah, there is no pussy to be had.
No.
we know Pat's banging all the missuses.
Yeah. Unless you go, that's what I was going to say. Unless you go for someone else's wife. But
or you're gay, you could go after Ted.
Yeah. Let's not besmirch Postman Pat.
Postman Pat just fucking spending the weekends at glory holes.
And he puts his nose through.
No. He's on the other end waiting for something, and it's just like, oh, this is clearly Ted because he's the only person with black bushy hair.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fucking disgusting. Why?
Yeah, just popping it through. Leave it with me.
Oh, Rick, what was your favourite moment out of the 2 episodes?
I think it was actually really innocuous when one of the kids in the playground dropped a letter in the puddle, and the letter itself got animated to have a wet texture as well. Like, that was just an amount of detail that didn't need to be added, and it was just so charming.
I think it was actually the envelope.
Yeah, the envelope. Yeah. That's actually, yes. No, envelope is the correct way of saying it. Envelope is just the Yorkshire way, and therefore incorrect.
I didn't even realise we were saying it differently. I thought we both said it the exact same way because I really don't pay attention to certain things.
But yeah, it was a really small little touch, and I just kind of liked it. It just stood out, made me smile, among other things that made me smile in the same episode.
I'll tell you what didn't make me smile is the fucking 1 frame per second walking. Oh,
How
God,
about you?
It's such, like we talked about it in the earlier beginning of the episode, it's so South Park with Terrence and Phillip.
Yeah. But yeah, do you have a favourite moment?
It's hard to pinpoint, really, and it wasn't really a moment so much as an element, in that I don't know how they made that water look like that.
Yeah. Like, I'm assuming it was like glue or something.
Well, it's also just like, it was flowing. Like, did they just have like a conveyor belt that they just kept rotating for shots? But it flowed far too smoothly. 1980, Rick.
Yeah.
If that was modern day, it's just like, oh, they just green screened in the water. But I doubt they did that for Postman Pat's first episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just like, I'm very curious how they did it. And it looked so good. And it looked so good, it didn't look like it was part of the same fucking show.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, Rick, can't only talk about the good, can we? We can only talk about the bad. So it's time to look at special delivery service and hear the weakest link.
It was Ben. He was a little shit. He just kept on ringing up Pat to bug him. It's not even his boss. It's just, hey, how's things going? and but not even in like a nice way. It's like, have you done your thing yet, dickhead? Oh, that's how it felt, at least to me.
I totally get you. Like, Pat was far too patient with him. Like,
Yeah. Pat was doing his job and trying to do things right, and Ben was just trying to micromanage Postman Pat. You do not micromanage Postman Pat when you are the new character, dickhead.
I do like also the fact that Postman Pat was very polite, as opposed to being like, "Hey, buddy, why the fuck are we shipping cows?"
Yeah. But yeah, that's my weakest link. What's your weakest link?
Oh, the plot of the second episode was bollocks. Like, yeah, the original episode was a very simple plot. Postman Pat goes on his rounds. He gives birthday presents to the birthday boy and girl. Finds out the girl is sad because she lost her doll, so he goes and finds the doll. Simple, effective.
Yeah.
I've got no issues with that. The plot of the second one involves a fucking helicopter.
Yeah, it's like, it feels like they introduced the helicopter. They did that plot just so they could use the helicopter.
Yeah, which if you're introducing a new element to the story, I kind of get from a narrative point of view. You can think of, like, I feel like they looked at Fireman Sam getting a helicopter and went, we should get a helicopter. I don't even know if Fireman Sam had a helicopter at this point in its life. I don't know. Fireman Sam is on the docket to do at one point with one of these, and I'll bitch about it then too. But yeah, it's fucking special delivery service is a neat idea, but boy, did they the very first episode, they're like, okay, we're no longer doing realistic, relatable postmen. And I suppose they can't, because from 2001 and later, postmen aren't really your friendly neighbourhood local chappy, you know what I mean? They get worked to death.
Yeah, totally.
Fuck the post office. Yeah, it just isn't relatable anymore, is it?
I know, right?
Like, what village has one post? I got 3 postmen.
Yeah, I can think. We've got many postmen, and there are 3 post offices pretty much equidistant from my house.
Well, that makes sense, because, like, it's always been a thing that there should be one post office for every mile. A mile might be too frequent, but I know there is a certain distance where you have to have one post office for every X distance. I think it is a mile, because a lot of post offices are just like the back corner of a shop.
Yeah, a lot of them are shops. Like I can think of, there's the actual post office that's called the post office, and then the other ones are little ones that are just tiny.
I mean, I can think of
obviously, there's obviously stretches where there's not a lot of people and they can just get away with not having one.
Yeah, but that's like farm. Well, yeah, you live in Yorkshire, so it's a real thing for you.
Stretch over the moors like 2 miles, nothing.
I mean, I'm thinking about it now, and like, yeah, I can think of 3 post offices. You got the post office, you got a post office section in the small little corner shop that no one goes to unless they live in that village. And you got the other one that's in another village.
Yeah. A lot of them are corner shops that do business as corner shop, and then when they have to do the post office thing, they just go, oh, Jesus, and then they go behind the post office counter and put on their post office hat and do the post office thing before going out and making more money doing the shop thing.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, sorry, lamenting about the fact that post office as like an idealized thing is just dead and buried and never coming back. Rick, let's get to the all-important moment, the crown and glory, as one might call it. We've got 2 episodes and 2 generations to choose from. What or who is getting the MVP?
I'm giving it to animator Derek Mogford, because I did look it up in between, actually. The one credited animator in the Ancient side. He also worked on other things like the Gran Show, which was just a very small, low stakes show about someone's gran, and Big Bertha.
Fuck me! Oh, I remember that show.
Yeah, and Charlie Chalk.
I don't remember Charlie Chalk, but yeah, Big Bertha. Didn't the song like call her Lovely Bertha?
Yeah, Bertha, lovely Bertha.
Jeez.
Sometimes we think you're a dream. Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, what a career.
Yeah, she was just a freaking like factory machine.
Yeah.
Everybody loved her.
I don't remember what she did. I just remember her being a big machine, and depending on what the episode.
Made shit.
Yeah, that's just it. Whatever the episode focused on is what she made. Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, that's mine. How about you? Who's going to be your MVP for today?
I'm going to give my MVP to the man himself, Pat.
Yeah.
Like, he's really is a lucky guy.
Yeah. Like, he feels that he's a lucky man, and he shows why he is a lucky man.
Dude, like, I don't think I was ever envious of Pat, but I'm sure when I watched Postman Pat as a kid, there must have been a moment where I went, yeah, Postman seems like a really sweet gig.
Yeah.
Like, the guy didn't need a van for that town.
No, he didn't.
And yet he just got to fucking drive up and down all day. He had his cat on his seat with him, and he'd just give out shit. He'd have a fucking... If it was a modern day version, he'd have a kebab for lunch.
Pat's kebabs.
You'll definitely find pubes in them. Thank you, I'm here a week.
Pubes. Postman Pubes.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, it's got to go to Pat. Like, he was the only real character in the first one, and in the second one, you can't help but root for him when he's being given dickhead jobs to do.
Yeah, totally.
Go catch this cow, sir. I'm a postman. Did I stutter?
Yeah.
But yeah, that does it for today. That was our look at Postman Pat, both old and modern. And yeah, we will definitely revisit this format and the formula, which is a promise I think I made with prior ones, and then we didn't do it for over a year.
Yeah, it's been a while. We've got a few that we can come back to on this, so look forward to it.
Yeah, alternatively, you can let us know in the comments section down below what old versus modern you'd like to see. Like, we've done DuckTales and Danger Mouse. We've got Fireman Sam and Bob the Builder on the docket, but we don't know when or if we'll visit those. So yeah, give us suggestions and ideas. Let us know what you thought of the episode. We also have an email address that you can send thoughts and ideas to at
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
Very eager to hear from you. If you send us something either witty or informative, we'll read it out on a future episode.
Or just plain old funny.
Did I not say witty?
You said witty, but sometimes something witty is not funny, but just, interesting.
But I used the word interesting as well, which means witty was meant as funny. Context clues, my friend. On that minor argument, join us again next week where we're doing something completely different.
Bye, everybody.